Hi, my name is Alex Dolphin and welcome back to another episode of Ex Ante. Today we're going to discuss the case of Tite Roofing Corporation versus Green. This case was heard in the Louisiana State Court of Appeals in the year of 1955. Let's go ahead and jump into the facts of the case. Green is the defendant, Tite is the plaintiff in this case. Green needed a new roof. His roof was in bad repair. So he contacted a salesman from Tite, and Tite said, yeah, we'll fix your roof up. Look at this written agreement, just sign this for me and then we'll start things going. And this written agreement, it says, I'm going to read verbatim, it says, this agreement shall become binding only upon written acceptance hereof by the principal or authorized officer of the contractor or upon commencing performance of the work. So this agreement isn't actually a contract. What this is at this point is it's an offer. Once Green signs this, he is offering to Tite, and then they have two options to accept. They can either sign or they can begin working on his roof. Tite begins running his credit. They look into like, hey, can we actually do this for Green? Does Green have a good enough credit score? Comes back, has a good credit score, it's all good. They're gonna go ahead and do it. So some time passes, Green is at his house, and Tite's like, all right, let's do it. They don't call Green before they come out. They just come on out and say, we're gonna start working on the roof. Well, when Tite gets there, they see that Green has already found another contractor, and this contractor is working on the roof already. And they're kind of like, what the heck? We're supposed to be here working on the roof. So the employees go back, and I imagine the manager gets pretty upset, says that, we had an agreement, he broke the agreement. We went out there intending to commence the work, and we weren't able to do that because someone was already there. So they bring suit. The trial court rules in favor of Green, saying that when he was at his house and he turned them away before they commenced any work, that satisfied a rejectance. The offer was basically pulled at that point because they weren't able to commence the work. The appellate court takes a more nuanced stance. The appellate court says that because work had already been commenced, one with the credit pull, two with getting employees ready, and then three with driving them all out there in the morning, there had been work that was commenced on behalf of Green's roof, even though it wasn't physically actually roofing his building. So the court turns to the restatement, and they talk about how someone has a reasonable time to withdraw an offer, and then they consider, was Green's withdrawal within a reasonable time period? Trial court seemed to think it was. The appellate court does not think that it's in a reasonable time period. They say that Green had a duty, if he was going to withdraw from this contract, or from this offer, that he needed to call Tite Roofing Corporation and say, hey guys, don't come out. I'm good, I found someone else. And he didn't do that. And because he didn't do that, when Tite began working on the roof, not really on the roof, but when they sent the people out there and they started incurring all those expenses, they commenced the work. So it was at that point too late to pull the offer from the table. Tite accepted it, and in this case, Green was found liable for the damages of the breach. He had to pay for the profit. He had to pay for the profit that Tite would have expected. He had to pay for the employee costs, and he had paid for the vehicle costs. So that's the case. Now let's just jump into a little bit of a discussion of the case. I think it's a little bit interesting to think of a scenario where the court said, Green didn't have a responsibility to call. Tite actually had a responsibility to call. I don't think it's pretty typical that someone just comes out to your home. Think about the internet person, think about the television person, maybe a mechanic, an appliance repairman. If they're going to come out to your home, they're generally going to call before they just show up and start working. And I think that there's an argument to be made that that maybe they should have given Green a call. Tite should have, before they came out and began to work. It's kind of a sneaky term in the agreement, and I don't think that Green understood it to mean what it meant. But this is just another area of the contracts law where we bind people, but not by always what they mean, but by the consequences. And that's because it's important for the economical incentives that are generated by interpretations of rules that are consistent by the court, even though individuals might not completely understand them. So that's kind of the ex ante argument, which would actually be in favor of Tite, interpreting that agreement in favor of Tite. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.